Sir, forbidden actions you can renounce all right. But Karma Kanda talks about good rituals which are not forbidden. They are useful and they are forbidden. You can renounce. You can renounce the आराम से आगे बैठ लो जी. You can renounce the forbidden actions, but you can't renounce the useful rituals. You see, this is something very serious. Forbidden actions are born of ignorance, but the useful rituals are not born of ignorance. To say this is wrong, because forbidden actions, one is tempted to do the forbidden actions due to ignorance. One is tempted to perform the rituals also for some future pleasure, that is also born of ignorance. All karma is born of ignorance. There is no such a thing, only wrong actions are born of ignorance. Karma, kartrutvam itself is born of ignorance. Therefore it says, na viparita jnana nimittatva anarthartatva bhyam tulyatvat. Useful actions in karma kanda are the same as the forbidden actions, because both presuppose self-ignorance. Fundamentally they are the same, topically they may be different. You have to understand this peculiar language. Fundamentally they are the same, topically they are different. Meaning forbidden action gives you temporary pain, useful action gives you temporary pleasure. But fundamentally both are born of ignorance. Inside the dream, a forbidden action gives you pain there. If you go up the tree and then fall down, it gives you temporary pain. And if you take kheer there, it gives you temporary pleasure. But both are dreamt. That is called fundamental. Both are fundamentally dreamt. Inside the dream, one gives pleasure, the other gives pain. Inside the dream, falling down from the tree gives pain. Taking kheer gives you pleasure, but both are dreamt. It's a very beautiful thought. Both are dreamt. The dream pleasure is dreamt. Dream pain also is dreamt. Dream good deed is dreamt. Dream bad deed also is dreamt. Similarly, Karma Kanda talks about good deeds and bad deeds. Both the deeds are dreamt in the waking. You call it waking, but this is also dreamt. When a person is dreaming, he doesn't know that he is dreaming. It looks waking, is it not? Dream looks waking within the dream. The waking looks real. The waking dream looks real. The dream. So when it looks real, that is called waking. When it looks real, we call it waking. Both look real in their own state, but fundamentally both are dreams. Both are waking, both are dreams. Waking judged from waking point of view, it is waking. Dream also judged from its own point of view, it is waking. But if you think closely, both are dreamt. Both are dreamt. Where is yesterday's life today? हमको तो ये बहुत ही it comes to me as a shock. Where is yesterday's life today? Where is yesterday's life today? How much of it is remaining? Just gone. It's a dream. What is the difference between yesterday's waking and last night's dream? क्या फर्क है जी? Yesterday's waking life and last night's dream life. What is the difference now? Able to follow? Yesterday's waking life and last night's dream life. How much of it is there now? In that way, even yesterday's waking life is dreamt, is gone. You can't have variety of temporariness. Temporary is temporary, but therefore anyway, thus there is no difference between the rituals and the forbidden actions in the karma kanda because both presuppose self-ignorance. Fundamentally, there is no difference. Kalanja bhakshanadi pravrittehe. You know, when I come to know a forbidden action is going to give me pain, I renounce it. When I come to know any action can only bring me a temporary result, it's not going to be the answer, because what I am looking for is the permanent. Any action can only bring me a temporary result. Because if the result has to be permanent, the action also has to be permanent, but we don't have an action which is permanent. Every action begins and ends. Therefore the result also, that is fair. God's law is fair. It is very beautiful. God by definition. One of the best definitions of Bhagavan is fair. It is not possible for him to be unfair. It's not possible. Why? Because as is the action, so is the result. That is fair. When you give more money to the harder working and less money to the less hard working, it is not bias, it is fair. Supposing you have two servants and you give the same amount of salary to both. One works for only 8 hours and he says, Mem Sahab, I am going. Bhaiya, thoda kaam hai ghar mein. Amako bhi kaam hai. You manage yourself. I am going. I am supposed to do only 8 hours. I am going. And the other servant is there. Mem Sahab, if I go away, you will be alone. How you will manage the guests, etc. It doesn't matter, even though I have done 8 hours, but still I will be there another 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours until the work is done. Now you give him the same amount. Is it not unfairness? You have to reward the one whose attitude is better, whose work is better, and whose work is longer. You have to reward. And if you don't reward, God will reward. Bhagavan will give you. That is why a lot of people find peace in this country by going doing the right actions without expecting any results from anybody, thinking the results will come from God. And the results come in some form. The result need not be in the form of money. When God gives, He gives in the form of pata nahi kya kya. And therefore, a lot of people in India survive on the beautiful vision of the Vedic culture. Understand? Don't think Delhi is India. If you go into the countryside, a lot of people live peacefully. Just the supporting vision is this Vedic vision. Let me continue to do my duties. Let me continue to follow the dharma. And let the results will be taken. Parameshwara is the seer. God is the witness. He will give me what I need, some form or the other. One will manage. Yes, He is the witness. Therefore, when I come to know a forbidden action is wrong, I renounce it. When I come to know good action, bad action, both of them are in fact can give it temporary results. That is the law. That is God's law. But however fairly I may get the result for my action, it is still temporary. It's very, very beautiful. However fair God may be to me in giving me the results of my action, those results would still be temporary. God's fairness to me doesn't solve my problem. God's fairness doesn't solve my problem. If God's fairness could solve my problem, He has always been fair. But still my problem remains unsolved. That means neither somebody's fairness to me nor God's fairness to me solves my problem. Fairness can help me live. Fairness is useful, but is not the answer. Swamiji, is there a difference between the useful and the answer? Yes. The answer is useful, but the useful need not be the answer. Yes. The answer is God's fairness itself doesn't solve the problem. Therefore, when I come to know, however fairly I may get the results for my even good deeds, it is still not going to be the answer. When I come to know even good deeds are not the answer, they are useful, but they are not the answer, then I shift my attentions. I shift my attention from the deeds to the truth. Deeds are a different topic from what I am. Because the Shruti says, you are the answer to yourself. That's too... It comes to me as a big revelation. You are the answer to yourself. When it says, then I should be the truth. Then the moment I have always been depending upon my deeds for my results, I've been depending upon my deeds for my pleasures, my deeds for my well-being. But the deeds, however fairly they may give me the result, they are still temporary, not the answer. They are useful but not the answer. Therefore, even Satya Harishchandra, his truthful deed. Truthful deed is useful in your journey to the truth. In one's journey to the truth, a truthful deed is useful. But a truthful deed also brings only temporary result, is not the answer. A truthful deed is useful but not the answer. Then what is the answer? Truth is the answer. Now you see, is there a difference between a truthful deed and the truth? That is the whole topic. Karmakanda is a truthful deed. Vedanta is truth deed. Truth is different from a truthful deed. In Mundaka we saw, satyasya pantha satyena vidatha. The path to the truth, the path to understanding the truth is made out of truthful deeds. Truthful thoughts, truthful words, truthful deeds, truthful life paves the way to understanding the truth. Truth is one's being. One's actions are useful. One's being is the answer. बाप रे, कितनी बड़ी बात है ये। रामचंद्र, बड़ी बात नहीं है ये राम। One's deeds are useful. One's being. We always bank on only deeds for everything. Deeds. I use my deeds for my well-being, others' deeds for my well-being. The whole society runs through deeds, and deeds are useful but not the answer. Not the answer. Simply fairness is not the answer. Neither God's fairness is the answer, nor even the societal fairness is the answer. Even if the whole human society becomes absolutely fair, that is not the answer. That can make life comfortable. That can make life relatively peaceful. But that doesn't solve the problem. Why? Because what drives the problem is, what triggers the problem is the ignorance about one's fullness. Ignorance about one's identity as the truth. Nothing can be a substitute for the truth. Nothing can be a substitute for the knowledge of the truth. Neither God's fairness is a substitute for the knowledge of the truth, nor social fairness to me. Even if the whole society becomes heavenly fair, everywhere fair, it doesn't mean you will still be a comfortable, peaceful life, but that's not the comfort is not the answer. Relative peace is not the answer. Relative peace means temporary peace. You can fairness, God's fairness to you and societal fairness to me can destroy my bitterness for God and society. But how about my vulnerability to fall sick, etc.? What about my fear of death? Can societal fairness liberate me from the fear of death? The fear of incompleteness? Is there no competition in a fair society? Rivalry? Are there no likes and dislikes in a fair society? Between Republicans and Democrats, there are no likes and dislikes. It's a fair society. At least that's how we are given to believe. It's a fair society. Say, we can't solve our problem through somebody's fairness. Forget it. You can solve your problem through your fairness to others. When you are fair to others, that is useful for you. It paves the way to the truth. Your being fair to others can prepare you for knowing the truth. If you bank on others' fairness to you, it is a very, very, very frustrating thing. Why? Because you're all the time, today he is fair, pata nahi kal kya hoga. You can't monitor others' fairness to you. You can't monitor others' fairness to you. The one thing that is most enjoyable in life is you be fair to others. That is in your hands. And when you are fair to others, you are more happy than when others are fair to you. Is it not? Am I true or false? कुछ भी हो, true तो कह लीजिए. When you say at least true, then I become very happy. My day is made. Swami ji, you are true. ऐसा कहने से थोड़ा बहुत my day is made. Therefore, please understand, when you are fair to others, gives you greater joy. It is not an ordinary joy. It moves you towards the truth. In fact, the memory of others' fairness doesn't make you greatly happy, but your being fair to others, whenever you remember it, it will make you happy. The right makes you happy again and again. Unbelievable it is. Supposing you were fair to your parents, you were fair to your servant, your fairness to even a bird, your cat, your dog. A suffering dog, you took the dog to a vet and then got it cured. Very fair. Whenever you think, whenever you remember an episode in life in which you were absolutely fair, and whenever you remember it, it will make you happy. The happiness of fairness is second only to the happiness of truth. समझ में आ गया? The happiness of being fair to others is next only to God's happiness, to truth. Brahma-vidya. Therefore, I should make the best of my being fair to others and my being a student of truth. Combine being a fair person and a reflective person. Is it not? But fairness is not the answer. Fairness by itself is not the answer, but fairness can push you, can pave the way. There is something glorious about dharma. The reward is the truth. Amazing. Dharma has two connotations. One is a ritual. A ritual is also dharma. The other is fairness. That is all. When Duryodhana was very unfair to Draupadi, it was very unfair. It's a very unfair. Even though they have lost her in the game of dice, but still, even though she is your slave, but you can't insult even a slave, understand? It's unfair. Because in your relationship even to a slave, you have to follow fairness. It is not that really you don't have to be fair to a slave. ऐसी बात थोड़ी है. You have to be fair even to a bird. That destroys a person. If you perform a ritual wrongly, it doesn't destroy you. Dharma in the sense of a ritual is nothing. But dharma in the sense of fairness, justice. Why I am using this term, fairness? Because that is the essence of all values. The essence of all dharmic values is fairness. That's why in Brahma Sutras it is said, what is that sutra? Vaishamya nairghrinyena. God has no bias for you or against you. God is neither my chacha nor my neighbor. He is neither my friend nor my enemy. Neither Ishvara is my chacha nor Maya is my chachi. He is nobody's chacha. That means what? He has no bias. Very beautiful thought. Naigrinium, he is not cruel. Means he is fair. He is not equal, but he is fair. Equality is a synonym of fairness. But equality as human beings understood, equality as human beings understand, it is unfairness. You give the same salary to those people who work and don't work. It's called equal. You have 4 children, give. ऐसे जैसे काम करते हैं वैसे फल देना fairness है. काम करो ना करो सबको एक ही दे दो. Even though it looks equality, but it is not. It's not fairness. Yes. As is the action, so is the result. That's a perfect fairness. One person is sitting the whole day and he doesn't work. How can you give him the same salary? That is why Bhagavan is equal, in the sense he is fair. That's equality. We are not in need of equality. A society is always in need of fairness. A very touching topic for me. Fairness is what keeps people together. A joint family runs through fairness, not through equality. Sometimes equality disturbs. One bahu works hard, the other bahu doesn't work hard, but then you give both the same amount, the same jewelry, etc. Then the one who works hard feels offended. That's wrong. Even a dumb person can be equal, but you have to have a God's mind to be fair. To be fair is an intelligent phenomenon. To be equal, any dumb person can. सबको एक ही दे दो. एक ही तरह का फ्लैट सबको दे दो, सब इक्वालिटी. एक ही रंग, सबको एक ही जैसे कपड़ा पहना दो, सबको एक ही खाना, सबको एक ही. That's nothing. That's nothing. That doesn't solve the societal problems. But anyway, coming back to the point, fairness is beautiful, but doesn't solve the problem. The knowledge of the truth. The next line. Kalanja bhakshanadi pravrittehe mithyaඥāna nimittatvam. Very beautiful. When a man is tempted to do a forbidden action like eating meat, etc., is considered to be a forbidden act. Even if you eat meat, please understand, it is not right. Continue eating till the end of life, but with the knowledge that it is not right. Doing the wrong and knowing that you are doing the wrong, he is half right. Haji, you are at least half right. Doing the wrong and say I am doing it out of majburi, I am doing it out of helplessness, but otherwise it is absolutely wrong thing. If you own the fact that it is wrong, you are a very objective person. You are a helpless, wise person. You are objective, but with a little bit of helplessness. I still respect him. I still respect him. Supposing you have the habit of drinking, but I say it's the wrong thing, I have to leave it one day, it's not good at all. But somehow or other, I started it when I was in my boarding school, where my parents were not available. So there was nobody to stop me. And that's it. One day you will leave it. So just as the temptation for a wrong action is Man is tempted for doing the wrong, but the moment he comes to know that it is going to destroy his happiness, he will slowly grow out of it. That is what Bhashyakara says. It's a very beautiful sentence. It is a hope-inspiring sentence. The knowledge of the wrong as a wrong will slowly prepare you to get out of it. You may not get out of the wrong the moment you hear that it is wrong, but the knowledge, sustained awareness of the wrong as wrong will prepare you to get out of the wrong. Pakka. Mithya jnana nivarti. Anartharthatvam cha yatha. And any forbidden action, when it is done without the awareness that it is wrong, it will definitely bring about anartha. Anartha means unhappiness. But once a person is aware of the wrong as wrong, one day he will get out. Tatha, similarly, just as a forbidden action paves the way to unhappiness, Shastra Vihita Pravritti Namapati, even right actions like rituals, I am talking about the ritual, even these rituals, though they create temporary pleasure, ultimately they give only pain. Even rituals ultimately give only pain because they give only temporary pleasure. And once the temporary pleasure is gone, again you are pain. That means fundamentally there is no difference between a forbidden action and rituals. It should be understood in the right spirit. Don't dismiss the ritual as forbidden. Meaning, in their results, forbidden actions don't solve my problem. Rituals also don't solve, must. Forbidden actions do not solve my problem by way of giving me only unhappiness. Rituals don't solve my problem, though they give me temporary pleasures but fail to solve my problem. Forbidden actions give me unhappiness and also fail to solve my problem. Rituals manage to give me temporary pleasures but fail to solve my problem. That both of them fail to solve my problem. They are the same. You see, that is why our Shastras, they just look at something, fundamentally, is it an answer to me? Is this the answer, final answer? And therefore, Shastra Vihita Pravritti Nama Vitasmat, therefore, Paramatma Yathatma Vijnanavataha Shastra Vihita Pravritti Nama Vi Mithya Jnana Nimittattvena Anarthartattvena Chaturjatvat Paramatma Jnanena Vipareta Jnane Nivartite Yukta Eva Bhavaha. This, the moment a person dwells on this reality, that forbidden actions are not the answer, even rituals are not the answer, slowly you will withdraw from them. And that state of withdrawal is only karma bhava, is peace. Withdrawal from an action is not another. And withdrawal, even though I use the word withdrawal, it is not an action, it is not doing. It is not doing. Instead of doing, I don't do. Not doing is not another doing. Now what is the topic we are doing? That's even Karma Kanda talks about karma abhava. Even Karma Kanda talks about karma abhava. What have to talk of Vedanta. Vedanta also, of course, talks about the truth, which is not karma. It's not a deed. A deed is a deed, whereas truth is not a deed. Truth is a being, what is. Truth is not done. Forbidden actions are done. Rituals are done. They have no existence unless they are done. Whereas truth exists. We don't have to do it. Truth exists even without being known. Without being even understood. It is. Whose existence is independent of my deed and thought is the truth. Whose existence is independent of my deeds and thoughts is the truth. Whose existence is independent of my deeds and thoughts is the truth. And when you come to know that the forbidden actions as well as the rituals are not the answer, naturally you withdraw from it. When you withdraw from it, what is there? Silence, karma. Therefore, I hope now you capture this. On the basis of all that you have heard, capture this conclusion. Therefore, the Purva-Pakshi's statement that Veda is only talking about deeds, not the truth, is wrong. Now I am telling you that the forbidden action is not the answer. Is it a deed or a fact? It's a fact. It's a truth. That the forbidden action is not the answer is the truth. That the rituals are not the answer is the truth. That is also conveyed by Veda. Veda itself says you perform rituals, they are useful but they are not the answer. Hey Rama. It is like a doctor giving you some medicine, say it will give you a relief, but it will not cure. Very honest doctor. Very honest doctor. आजकल के लोग कोई नहीं कहते हैं कि रिलीफ देंगे, इससे ठीक हो जाएंगे जाओ. ये ठीक नहीं होता. Similarly, a कर्मकांडी will say अग्निहोत्र करो मोक्ष मिलेगा, कुछ नहीं होगा. Therefore, that the rituals are not the answer is not another deed, it's a fact. That the forbidden actions are not the answer is a fact. Who reveals that fact? Veda. I can figure out, and Veda also says. यथा कर्मचितो लोकः क्षीयते तथा अमुद्रापि पुण्यचितो लोकः क्षीयते, it says. Hey, just as your pleasures here, just as your money is temporary, the result of your rituals also is temporary, it says. Your money gives you pleasures on the earth and your rituals may give you pleasure in heaven. But the pleasures on the earth are temporary and so are the pleasures in heaven. Temporary. Why? Only truth is permanent. Deeds are temporary, the results of deeds are temporary. And what do I depend upon? My deeds and the results. Bas. That is what is called self-made man. Every jiva is a self-made because he is all the time depending upon what? Deeds and results. Deeds. रात 12 बजे तक काम करते रहते हैं. Why? Deeds. Action. It is useful, we don't really run it down. It is useful, but it is not the answer. Papa, that must be known. Every rich man must know. Every person must know what I have is useful, but that's not the answer. What I have is not the answer. What I am is the answer. What I have is not the answer. What I am is the answer. This they have to know. very rich man has. If he knows it, he is much better off. If he doesn't know it, he is going to cry one day. Pakka. Look at that episode. Look at people, what all they do for the money. They kill people and ultimately they get killed and they go to jail. Kya karna? That is why without right sanskara, you will be wild. Even though you just don't know how to handle the wild nature in your mind. You just don't know. You are helpless. Like when you are angry, you will do all kinds of wrong things. How not to go wild? For that you require sanskara ji. What is sanskara? Vedanta is the sanskara. There is no other sanskara. Exposure to the truth is the sanskara. Exposure to the world gives desire. Exposure to the truth gives the answer. The more I see the world, the more I want to enjoy it. The more I want to enjoy the world. Do you go to Switzerland and get vairagyam there? In order to imbibe vairagyam, do you go to America? जो लोग भारत के अमेरिका जाते हैं उनको वैराग्य आता है कि नहीं आता? Vairagyam is the result of satsang. Satsang means exposure to the topic of the truth, yourself. The more you look at yourself, which is the answer, the more you have vairagyam for the world. The more you look at yourself, the subject, the more you have vairagyam for the world. Because serenity, peace, bliss, whatever, comfort is not external, it is your being. Ye to pakka. And therefore, I am concluding, going to the next paragraph. Therefore, what the Purvapakshi said, Veda is only meant to make you do the deeds. Veda doesn't deal with the topic of the truth. Therefore, action is the topic of Veda, not the knowledge of the truth. This statement of Purvapakshi is wrong. Veda talks about both. It talks about the deeds which are useful. It talks about the truth, which is the answer. Yes, the answer. One can edit the useful, but you can't edit the truth. Because you can always, among the useful things also, you can always be choosy. I don't require all the useful things. I can live a simple life. Out of 4 rooms, I can have just 1 room. All the 4 rooms are useful, but I don't need all the 4 useful rooms. I can need 1 room. Therefore, I can be. It is only when it comes to the useful things I can have what we call, I can be simple. I can lead a simple life. Means what? Use only a few useful things. Supposing I depend upon too many useful things, that also becomes another struggle. If I depend upon too many useful things, they're all useful, but then I depend upon too many useful things. For my survival, it becomes a struggle. Therefore, simplicity in that sense is it's useful. Simplicity is the essence of usefulness. It's the crux. Adambarta causes only struggle. You know Adambarta? Pomp. 3 बजे को उठ के आए, रात को जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ ढोलक बजने लगे। हे रामा, इतनी जोर से। Why? Because the girl has come to the boy's house, married. To whom are you announcing? We are not interested whether the girls comes today or tomorrow. You people who are involved in the marriage, you know that is good enough. Why are you disturbing our sleep just to announce that that girl has come to the boy's house? हमको क्या करना उससे? Make it simple. What is this loud announcement to the world? These are all called Adambaram ji. Do you know what is this Adambaram? Shall I tell you something? Don't curse me. It is all expression of inner boredom. People are most bored with their existence. Tell you. Bored with life. Too much of boredom. Therefore, how to kill the boredom? Dholak le lo. और क्या? Why should the girl come at 3 o'clock in the night? I don't understand. 3 o'clock is an unearthly hour. Unearthly hour. Why can't they organize it nicely during the whole daytime? सुबह शादी हो गया, शाम को घर चले गए, खत्म. Simple, just in front, भगवान के सामने, बस हो गए. Marriage, see, you should be serious about the attitudes in the family rather than serious about these ceremonies. क्या करना these ceremonies? That money that you spend, go and give to the poor. Buy books and distribute. Buy clothes and distribute. Make some flats and distribute to some, at least your workers. Give it. It will bring you blessing. It's a fair thing. Yes, it's fairness. Nothing wrong in that. But anyway, there are always debates about these things. हो गया जी, निवर्तिते. Therefore, we have made such a great point, ji. Mimamsaka is absolutely wrong when he says the theme of the entire Veda is only deed. We say no. It is both. It teaches good deeds. It also teaches truth. What about values? Values come under deeds. Please understand. Values come under deeds. Good values are not different from teaching. Good values is nothing but teaching good deeds. Satyam vada, dharmam chara, etc., etc. Matrudevo bhava, Pitrudevo bhava, Acharyadevo bhava, Atithidevo bhava, etc., etc. These are all what? Teaching children, teaching human beings good deeds. But even if they follow good deeds, that is not the answer. But that makes life comfortable, which is great. And that is what I say useful. It is useful, but not the answer. It is prayojanam. It is saprayojanam, but not mokshadam. Karmakanda is saprayojanam, but not mokshadam. It is not, it can't guarantee liberation. Now, Purvapaksha begins. Nanu tatra yuktaha nityanam tu kevala shastra nimittatvat anarthartha tattva abhava abhavacha abhavona yuktaha iti chet. You know, we have Pratisiddha karma in the Veda. We have rituals, Kamya karma, and we have Nitya karma. Pratisiddha karma creates unhappiness. Kamya karma creates temporary pleasure. They are called rituals. Desire-oriented rituals are all called Kamya karma. And there is another karma called Nitya karma. Nitya karma is a daily prayer to control likes and dislikes, for mental purity, that's all. Thus we have great three karmas. It talks about the don'ts to be eschewed. It also talks about the kamya karmas, which can be done if you so wish. There is a nitya karma, gives you no choice, you better cut, whether you like it or not, continue. Nitya karma, see. Veda is very clever to take your choice out. Don't exercise your choice over Nitya karma. It's a very beautiful thing. That is why it is described as Nitya karma. It is not something, whether you like it or not, keep doing, one day it will bless. That is the only way. Learn to do the right things, whether you like them or not. That is called really some kind of perseverance. Continue to do what you like is not perseverance. But continuing to do the right, even if it tires you, even if it fatigues you, even if you don't like it. Like it, even if it tires you, fatigues you, you feel like discontinuing it, but yet you don't discontinue, you persevere. Is it not? In life also, all good deeds continue, even if they are tiring, because one day they are useful. Nitya karma. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says, do your duty as a Nitya karma, as a prayer, as a Nitya karma. Yes. Now here, this man says, Purvapakshi says, sir, Pratisiddha karma may not be the answer. Pratisiddha karma may not be the answer. Kamya karma also is not the answer. But Nitya karma should be the answer. It is karma. No, Nitya karma as Nitya karma also is not the answer. It is useful for knowing the truth. Itself is not the truth. I don't know which language I should use to clarify this. Pratisiddha karma doesn't facilitate the grasp of the truth. Kamya karma doesn't facilitate at all, doesn't facilitate the grasp of the truth. But Nitya karma facilitates, but itself is not the answer. It helps you, but not the answer. That means no karma including Nitya karma is the answer. But no karma including Nitya karma is the answer. Because Jiva will remain a Jiva. Do you think that answer is so easy? Answer is easy, but answer is not available through one's casual approach. Answer is oneself, but one should be ready to see it. You see, it's like the law of gravitation is right there, but I should grow to understand it. I have to be a scientist to understand the law of gravitation, otherwise it remains a belief. I must grow to understand the medical life of the body, how it functions, I must grow. It is right there, my body is so intimate, but I need to grow to understand it. My mind is so intimate, but I need to grow to understand it. Myself, the observer, is so intimate, more intimate to me. My own existence is more intimate to me than my body and the mind, but still I have to grow to understand it. In fact, I require the greatest growth to understand the truth, and that which guarantees growth is called Nitya Karma. Nitya Karma helps me grow, but is not the answer. Pratishiddha Karma not only makes me unhappy, not the answer. Kamya Karma gives me temporary pleasures, it is not the answer. And Nitya Karma helps me grow, but itself is not the answer. And therefore, sir, Bhagavan says, Na avidya raga dveshadi doshavadah vihitatvat. I am just, concluding it. Pratishiddha karma, a forbidden action, is always done by a man without an impulsive person. An impulsive person does a wrong action. A person who has a desire performs a desire-oriented ritual, whereas the one who has mental impurity, and if he wants to keep his mind peaceful, for him is enjoined the Nitya Karma. Veda prescribes rituals for material results. Veda prescribes Nitya Karma for mental growth. Nitya Karma is not going to help you in material growth, nor Kamya Karma helps you to grow in mind. Are you able to follow? There are different topics. Supposing you work hard for more and more money, it is not going to make you mentally pure. It will add to your money. Your hard work will add to your money, not your mental growth. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Even if you live for 80 years, there is no growth. Fundamental growth is not there. Maybe you got more information. You may put more information into your mind. That's different from its growth. Growth is always in terms of its ability to be peaceful. Mental growth is always in terms of its ability to be peaceful. Mental growth is always in terms of its ability not to disturb others, not to disturb others' peace, and also not to disturb your own peace. A person may, after 80 years, is highly informed, reads 25 magazines a day. It doesn't mean you are mentally growing. You are mentally being loaded. All the magazines, what do? I get mentally loaded. I sometimes come under its pressure. I become a truck for the book printers. I get to learn. Does it help you in becoming peaceful? That's why I say Veda is very beautiful when it says, hey, your inner devotion is much greater than all the information that you have. जो भगवान के लिए जो भक्ति होती है ना, That's much better than all the magazines. Yes. If we can say and feel, hey Bhagavan, help me, is much better. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Pratishidha karma is not the answer, kama karma is not the answer. Even nitya karma is not, by itself is not the answer, though it is highly useful. Continue it later. Purnamadaha purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vishyate om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.